Hello Facebook, happy Monday, very nice to see you. Hello YouTube, very nice to be back with you, starting a brand new week. Lots of chit chat going on today about gut health and motivation and kicking off the new year into a great new start. Hi there Cheryl, hi Helen, hi Wendy. Hey, morning from the Isle of Wight, great, very nice to have you. Hi Nikki, nice to see you. Hi Trisha. Lovely to be with you. Hello Lisa on Facebook. I love all this. I love all this interaction. It's so great, isn't it, to connect. What a lovely community. What a lovely special community this all is. I am very appreciative and it's great to be able to connect with everybody. So I've got the most itchy nose. I don't know why. Oh my goodness. You know how you get that? It's typical, isn't it? Just before I do a live. Anyway, I was just saying to my friends on Instagram that I have been on telly already this morning, not live. I don't know whether any of you saw it, but it was a little mini series that I've started filming back with my lovely friends on this morning. And I was working with Tonya Buxton, who is amazing. I mean, I love Tonya. She and I have been friends for a while now, actually. And Lisa Snowden, who's great, who's a This Morning fashion guru. And it was actually the idea of the editor, the main editor of This Morning, because Lisa turns 50 in a couple of weeks' time, and I'm obviously well into my 50s, and Tonya, she's a bit younger than me, but she's also in her 50s. And he just had this idea that actually it would be really fun to do something fab at 50 because we've all got different areas of knowledge and expertise and experience and things to share. So anyway, I haven't actually seen that one. I missed it. I thought it was going out a bit later than it did. So I don't know whether anybody else has seen it. Have you seen it? Let me know. Hi, Paula from New Jersey. Wow, what time is it with you? It must be, what, very early? Are you early? Yeah, you're behind us, aren't you? So it's very early. Hi, Patsy. Nice to see you. So, what foundation am I wearing today, Kathy? I'm actually wearing a mix. I've done a whole makeup YouTube video tutorial. If you want to go and have a look at it, it's up on YouTube. It is a Yves Saint Laurent Touche Éclat foundation. And I've mixed that with a little bit of Burberry. It's called something like Radiant Nude or something. I'm not quite sure. Anyway, I mixed the two together and you'll see it in my tutorial. And I put that on with a bit of face powder. So there we go. And I've got a nice light. Always make sure you sit in front of a nice light. Honestly, lighting is key. I can show you, you can take the same picture with lovely soft diffused warm light and it just sort of blurs everything and you just look all sort of glowy and radiant. And then this exactly the same picture with like really harsh strong lighting. Well, I tell you the worst thing is never stand under a downlighter if you're having your picture taken, because that white light often straight down on you. I mean, seriously, it gives you lines where you don't have lines. So very nice to see you. Bring them on camera. I can't because they're upstairs. My makeup stuff's upstairs, but they are on YouTube. So if you check out my makeup tutorial on YouTube, you will see them all on there. And there are links and everything. Talking about links, thank you very much to Rachel, who runs the social media team here at Earle Wellbeing. Rachel is on Facebook today. Hello, Rachel. Nice to see you. Well, see you, you know. And she will pop links up to everything that I talk about. Obviously, we can't link on Instagram, but we do have a link. If you go to the bio, if you go to where it says the little bit of blurb about Earle Wellbeing magazine, that's where we can pop up links and things, okay? Yeah, lighting is key, isn't it, you know? It's like Zoom chats, yeah, so what you need to do for Zoom chats is, well, hopefully we'll be having a few more meetings in real life now, but if you are still on Zoom, you can get these little mini ring lights, they're about kind of that big, and they just clip onto the top of your laptop, and you just plug them in with a USB, and it just gives you that nice sort of all-round golden glow. You just find them online, honestly. Go to the dreaded Amazon if you want to and just have a look. They're all much for muchness, to be really honest. I don't have a particular favourite one. Most of them have two settings, one which is kind of white light, which is for daylight, and the other one which is yellower, which is more of an evening, softer light. So you can experiment. Anyway, today I have got a lovely guest, one of our favourite guests, yes. Dr. Lucian, all the way from the Netherlands, will be joining us. I feel like he gets a drum roll, really. Talking about Bimuno, talking about gut health, about prebiotics, postbiotics, probiotics, all of that. So if you've got any questions, pop them into my Instagram. I'm going to try and read my Facebook as well. Rachel, maybe if you see any, maybe you can link up with the wonders of technology and pop questions here. Oh, thanks, Joanne. Joanne says that my hair looks lovely. Thank you. I used Percy and Reed. I don't know if you tried any of their stuff yet, Percy and Reed. I just love it. I love the smell. And they do a great volumizing range. So if your hair is a bit fine, so I've got lots of hair, but it is very fine. So I do need a bit of kind of oomph. So I find that the Percy and Reed volumizing shampoo and conditioner is really good. I love their mask. What did I use this morning? I used the Wonder Balm, and I think we do still have a Liz Loves discount if you want to try Percy and Reed. Let me just check that. Percy and Reed, where are you? I can't see you on my list. Oh, here we go. Percy and Reed. Yeah, there we go. 15%. 15%. Liz Loves, all one word, all in capitals, and that's percyandreed.com. And I particularly like their styling range. They have a very, very good dry shampoo, which I think is great. So, I mean, I'm always trying so many new things. 15% off. Thank you very much for reminding me. Just to say, it's been quite busy on our subscriptions page this morning. I think maybe because lots of people were watching from this morning. So well done if you have discovered me here, if you were watching this morning earlier and have just hopped on to my Instagram or Facebook or YouTube. You're really welcome. I mentioned on my Instagram this morning the brand new copy of the Earle Wellbeing magazine. Honestly, it is so jam-packed with stuff that you will want to read right now. You absolutely will, because it's all about refresh and renew. So it's about just getting the year off to a great, great start. I know lots of you have signed up to do the 42days.com. Rachel, maybe you can pop a link to that on Facebook. The 42days.com, if you go to there /Liz Earle, all one word, that gives you it for half price. Great, great way to kick off January. You get a daily update and a connection with a community that talks about diet, exercise. There's a daily meditation. It's a really good way to refresh for the year ahead. So it's normally £42 for 42 days. And we've got half price, exclusive. You won't find that discount anywhere else. And it's because I have recorded a couple of podcasts with Robin Seeger, who actually created the 42 days. And he has very generously given us his program, half price. So do check it out after this. Make a note, the42days.com /Liz Earle, and then that gives you the special price of, I think it's £21, isn't it? Because it's half price. Right, and just to say that for the magazine, for those of you who are new, what reminded me about that is there's so much in here to start off the new year. So for example, if you want to get going with your exercises, then there's a whole section here. This is me with Michael Gary talking about how to get going, how to get your fitness routine off to a good start. He shares so much stuff in this. I just love him. He's so great. Actually, I was with him online this morning and we were trying to work out how long I've been training with him. I think it's about 9 years. I'm going to try and find the date anyway. Oh, this is a really good feature. Dr. Ifeomi, I love her, talking about adult acne. Oh my goodness, she is so talented and so clever. And what she talks about here is just genius. And then more about beauty, actually, Alice Hrt Davis, she's also genius. She's talking about moisturising. And I mean, there's just so much expert advice. I write a bit in here as well. Obviously, I've got my team. Post-workout bakes. These are the most delicious things you're going to want to snack on. Anyway, the reason why I mention that right now, before we get into Lucien, is that there is a really, really special subscription gift. So if you haven't got yours yet, or you want to give a gift subscription, then this little bottle of joy from Olverum, this is £60. Okay, it's a really premium facial oil. It contains something called bakuchiol, which is the natural plant form of retinol, plus it's got an organic rosehip seed oil. The smell is amazing, like all the Olverum products. I just love them. They have an amazing bath oil. It's a great British beauty brand, actually. It's really quite traditional. I like using it on the backs of my hands as well. Oh, that smell is so good. I wish you could smell it. Anyway, this while stocks last, and I think we've already sold about half of them, so you're going to have to be quite quick if you want this. This is normally £60. Yeah, 60. It's really premium. And it's completely free with the direct debit version of the Earle Wellbeing magazine subscription. And you get 6 issues for the price of 5. And you get free P&P. I mean, seriously, what is not to love? I can't urge you strongly enough. Please don't miss out on this issue. If you want it for yourself, then great. The little bottle of oil will get sent to you directly. If you already have your subscription and you're feeling generous and you're feeling like sharing the love with a loved one, a friend, family member, your mum, whoever, then if you would like the oil to come to you, you just have to let Warners know. Okay, so if you're online, if you're doing the form online, it just means that you have to fill in the little comments box that just says, please send the oil, the subscription gift, to me at whatever your address is. Or if you ring them up, because you can actually talk to them, they're in the UK, they have great customer service, Warners, you just let them know that you'd like the oil, the gift, sent to you separately. And then the magazine goes to whoever you'd like it to. Okay, so that is that little bit of housekeeping news. I'm going to see now if we can join up with Dr. Lucien Hatun. Does the subscription automatically renew? That's a really good question. I'm not entirely sure. I think it probably does, but you can cancel it at any time. So it's not an issue. I know we had a problem with a lot of people whose subscriptions renewed and they didn't renew, and they got really cross because they stopped receiving the magazine. So I'm fairly sure that it does just continue until you decide to stop it. Right, where are we by Muno? Let me see if I can. And if you have questions, by the way, on gut health, this is the man to be directing them to. So, hi, Happy New Year.
Hello, Liz. Hello again.
Very nice to see you. I'm just going to turn you up so that our friends on Facebook and YouTube can hear your words of wisdom.
Great. Can you hear me well?
I can hear you very well. How are you?
Good. I'm good. Thank you for having me in your live chat. How about you?
Yeah, all good. All good. Survived Christmas, so that was a plus. Had all the family here, lots of eating, drinking, feasting, all of that stuff, and now kind of thinking, right, need to have a little bit of a refresh because it all got a little bit out of control. I don't know how it was over in the Netherlands, but I think everyone was just so happy to be able to see each other and, you know, to be out and about again, that there was possibly a little bit too much partying going on.
Absolutely. Well, you know, I have to admit it was a bit similar here. We had good family time, good quality time, but you know what goes along with good quality time? You know, good meals, some good things.
Just a little bit too much on every level, which I guess is very timely for our chat now, talking about gut health. For those who haven't had the pleasure of listening to Dr. Lucien before, do you want to tell us just a little bit about your background and your areas of research? Because it's so fascinating.
Sure. So my background is in biomedical sciences from the Netherlands, from the Vrije University in Amsterdam, already quite some years ago. And after that, I did a PhD, so a PhD thesis in metabolic physiology and neuroscience. So then I specialized a little bit more into the academic world with postdoc research, and then I moved to the industry because I think in the industry there's a lot, you know, to do in terms of, you know, making the research applicable to you know, to everyday products and everyday solutions.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that's the great thing, isn't it, that we're seeing now, is that there's been so much research, particularly in the area of gut health, and then translating that into things that we can actually have every day that are so incredibly helpful. And, you know, I wrote my first book on gut health. Actually, I don't think I've got it behind me, actually. The Good Gut Guide. It must be about 5 years ago now. And even in that period, that short time frame, so much has been discovered. I mean, it almost feels that we're just really at the tip of the iceberg with all the importance that's being placed on gut and gut health.
True, and we are still there, and that's also what we do, and that's basically where I'm responsible for within the Bimuno brand to lead the research So we are still doing a lot of research because there is so much to discover in terms of gut health, but also how gut and gut health and its microbiome is linked to many aspects of health and well-being. Absolutely. Yeah.
So for those of you who've kind of missed all of this gut health chat, how is the gut, located right down here, how does that work to influence our mood, our emotions, our mental health? Why is that? I mean, we think about our brain as being the center for controlling mental health. What on earth, playing devil's advocate here, what on earth does the gut have to do with it?
Yeah, well, I would say the gut is, that everyday organ. I mean, we are eating, we are drinking, we are exercising, we are living. So the gut is in that way very central. And I think what has research brought us over the last, 10, maybe 20 years is that the gut is so central. So it's a kind of a central interface between many other body organ systems. And one of the important elements, and I think there is still a lot of research ongoing, is not only the gut as an organ system, but it's also that gut microbiome that's living there. And as we discussed last time, Liz, before Christmas, it's these trillions of bacteria and other species living there that has such an important role and bring that connections to many other organ systems.
That's just, when you think about it, trillions, kind of millions is a heck of a lot. Billions is like mind-blowingly big, but trillions, think of, our gut has trillions of these, microscopic, what are they, bacteria, fungi, all sorts of things, good and bad. They're the good guys and the bad guys, aren't they, living in the gut?
Yeah, absolutely. In a sense, it's outnumbering largely the number of human cells we have as our human body, and it's exactly that whole community in the gut microbiome. So it can be good bacteria, it can be bad bacteria. Last time we also discussed the role of Bifidobacteria, so-called beneficial bacteria, the so-called superheroes of our gut that maintain that good gut balance, good gut, health resilience. So it's very vital. And what it brings, or what it makes it connecting to other organ systems is, it's not only the composition, but it's also the functionality. So functionality in a way that it produces a lot of stuff. And the example of Bifidobacteria, for example, they are producing that kind of metabolites. They call it short-chain fatty acids that have that link to, the brain, to the lungs, to the skin. So to many. It's so central.
Yeah. So the good bacteria, the good bugs, the bifidobugs particularly, are actually producing, they're like little powerhouses producing short-chain fatty acids in the gut that then help our immune system, our mental health. So it's really important, isn't it, that we look after these guys? Because they're going to look after us.
Absolutely. And I think that was one of the bigger discoveries in gut microbiome research, more than 10 years ago, actually, the role of short-chain fatty acids. So it has, or they have a very direct link to the gut cells itself, and gut cells and the gut cell lining, which is a very vulnerable system, should be, working properly, should be intact. If you have some disruption of the gut microbiome and the gut cell lining, there is still a serious issue there. Yeah. But also these short-chain fatty acids, they are quite volatile, so they can travel quite fast and influence other cells like the immune cells. And the immune cells are also, in and around the gut, and even to nervous pathways, so like the connection between the gut and the brain, vice versa. And in a way, I discovered also a book that I read, I think also more than 10 years ago. The gut is the second brain. So and I think that's really interesting, because it has also that kind of complexity, and it has also these links and these connections and that kind of communication, vice versa. So the gut is, again, a very central organ, important for health and well-being.
It's so fascinating. I kind of sometimes think if I had my time again, I would choose a path in microbiology and be, become a kind of a real gut health expert. I love talking to people who are at the forefront of all this research. Tell me, the short chain fatty acids, do we find them anywhere else? Do we get them from foods? Do we get them from oils?
It's particularly from carbohydrates. So like fibers, like carbohydrates are really the good source. But of course, these carbohydrates and fibers and also oligosaccharides, what we discussed last time, that's basically the key ingredient of Bimuno. That needs to be metabolized by these beneficial bacteria. And the beneficial bacteria, they produce then the short chain fatty acids. So it's quite a unique system. Where you also need the beneficial bacteria producing them. So in terms is, in some way it's also the kind of the local fermentation in the large intestine that is critical in producing these short chain fatty acids.
Yeah. Well, I've got my Bimuno here because this is the pack that I have, and it's 30. I've got 30 sachets in here, so I've got one a day. So I thought I actually always have mine in the morning. In my kind of mid to late morning cup of tea or coffee. Yeah. So I thought I would save it today until I can actually do it with the Bimuno expert watching. Make sure I'm doing it right. But actually you can't kind of get it wrong, can you? Because you can add it. It's a powder that you can add to any drink.
Yeah. No, it's basically very easy to use. With any meal, with any drink, like a hot tea or a coffee or even a juice. So
does it matter how hot it is? With the hot tea or coffee, would that destroy it at all?
No, that is, I think, a big benefit of Bimuno, because Bimuno has an active prebiotic in it. And a prebiotic, in a way, is different than a probiotic, because a probiotic is heat sensitive. A prebiotic, Bimuno, for example, is very stable. It's a very versatile product. So you can use it in all kind of applications and forms.
So just to clarify then, so a probiotic, these are the live bacteria. These are things like the yogurts and the kefir and the kombuchas and or you get supplements, that kind of thing. And then the prebiotic, which is what Bimuno is. This is like your food, isn't it? This is what you're feeding your gut with, that feeds your microbes, so they perform better and they produce more of this short chain fatty acids. Is that right?
Exactly. Well, that's basically the key ingredient for this production of short chain fatty acids. And listen, you remember from last time before Christmas that we said the pro and the prebiotics in a kind of a simplified way. It's the seeds and the fertilizers. So again, there we are. It's kind of fertilizing your beneficial bacteria that you have, but we know that the gut microbiome can be challenged. Sure. I think now just after the holiday season, or you can have also medical conditions where it can be challenged. Then it's very important to restore a kind of a healthy gut microbiome, and Bimuno as a prebiotic is a very easy way to kind of correct and rebalance that.
So I'm seeing some questions here coming in on Instagram. So can you take them together? So if you were taking a probiotic supplement, for example, or having a glass of kefir, could you have your Bimuno, alongside that to feed it, to kind of amplify it, really? You're making it work even harder, aren't you?
Yeah, we have even done some studies in the past where we combine it, and then it's kind of, in more scientific language, it's called symbiotics. So it's the kind of the synergy between pre and probiotics. So you definitely can combine it, and also with other products like kefir, or, with other yogurts or probiotic containing. Yeah.
That would be like the ultimate superpower for your gut, wouldn't it? Have a glass of kefir with some Bimuno in it. My goodness, your gut bugs are just going to be dancing a joy of gleefulness down in your gut.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you give this to kids? What's is it for everybody? Can I give it to my elderly parents? Is it something that is suitable for everybody?
Yeah, especially for adults, it's and we have done a lot of studies in adults and even adolescents. So what we recommend is for children of 4 years and older, because you have also some specific prebiotics and oligosaccharides for infant formula, but that's basically not what we are targeting, but more for a broader community. Also using it in different lifestyles. Different conditions, so basically from 4 years plus.
And I should just say, I know there's lots of people going over and having a look at the Bimuno website. We do have a Liz Loves, it's 15%, the affiliate discount, so thank you very much for that. Is this something that we take all the time? Do you need to do just like a course of it to set you up for the new year, or is this something that should just be like taking your vitamin D supplement, it should just be a daily thing?
I would say it should be a daily thing. So basically where we see effects on a changed gut microbiome and, the increase of beneficial bacteria, that is usually an effect that we see within 7 days.
Wow.
Also the effects on your immune health or the effects on gut health, even mental health. I mean, that needs sometimes a little bit longer. It depends on, each individual situation.
Yeah.
And usually you can take it quite easily and routinely daily. And that's basically what you need to do. Yeah.
I have heard that actually, that particularly with probiotics, you tend to think, well, I'm going to repopulate my gut and I'll get all these lovely gut bugs going. And then I'll just sort of let them get on with it. But it doesn't really work like that, does it? They do need replenishing and looking after every day. It's a bit like a garden. As you say, you've got your seeds, you sow your seeds, and you can't just go away and leave it. You have to make sure it's got water, that it's got sunshine, that it's got some, some nice, I don't know, organic compost matter or something. Just, to keep your flowers, your garden blooming in a really healthy way. You need to tend it, don't you? You need to look after it.
Yeah. No, true. And that's also what we have shown in studies. If you kind of, stop with Bimuno intake, the effect kind of fades away. Sometimes it's a bit shorter, sometimes a little bit longer. But that's really where we say, it's such an easy ingredient and supplement. So just take it every day and you will see the benefits.
Yeah, and it's really well researched. How long have you been working with Bimuno now?
For over 2 years, so I have been in other industries before as research director. But yeah, true. So with Bimuno, and I think that is also quite unique with such, a single supplement or food supplement. We have done over 100 publications and more than 20 clinical studies on such a unique ingredient. And that has been different populations. So as I said, from children to adulthood, but also in some, cohorts where there is functional GI disorders, so gastrointestinal disorders, but also in some cohorts with, mental dysfunctioning or immune compromised. Yeah.
Gosh. Before we go, let's just talk about that, because obviously we've been talking very generally about predominantly a relatively healthy population. And about how we can kind of get that level of super health and super immunity and really kind of feel very energized and well mentally and physically. But what about those who are a bit more challenged, who have a gastrointestinal issue, who have leaky gut or IBS? What kind of studies are there to show that Bimuno could potentially help with that?
Yeah, we have done several studies, and maybe it's important first to say if there is a specific medical condition or issue, it's always, first your GP that needs to be consulted for medical advice. But in terms of the research we have done, it's quite, a long list of studies. Some on gut-compromised individuals, immune-compromised individuals, and I think the point you just touched on is the disrupted gut barrier is a very important condition.
Yeah.
And that goes along with some symptoms or functional GI disorders. So that's where we have done quite some studies, and in a way, and that's also always one of the most important things is to test the tolerability of the supplement and also the safety. And that's what we have shown. It's a very safe product. in that way, a prebiotic is always, usually a safe product. And also the tolerability. So we have also really relatively low dose, a low dose that is clinically already effective. So you don't take, huge amounts of these ingredients. It's usually 3.6 grams that is in one of these sachets, which is very tolerable dose.
Mm-hmm. I'm getting some specific questions here about acid reflux. I don't know whether you've got any studies or can point people in the right direction for help with that.
Yeah, that's a very good question. We haven't done specific studies in that area, but sometimes you see it also as a symptom with some other gastrointestinal discomfort. We are still doing studies in also the spectrum of irritable bowel syndrome. So sometimes that goes along with some other systems. So I would say if there is, if a person has really a benefit in the acid reflux, I would really recommend it, taking it daily.
Yes, yeah. And what about where does it come from? Is it lactose free, or what's the issue if somebody is lactose intolerant?
Yeah. That's a good question. So the production is basically enzymatically from lactose. So lactose is the basis, is the substrate, and then the galacto-oligosaccharide is basically not just one component or one molecule. It's a mixture of different molecules based from that lactose chain. But the levels of lactose are relatively low, so it's also the guidelines, what the guidelines say as a causing factor for lactose intolerance. So we even know people with lactose intolerance who can still take it.
Absolutely. Well, it's a bit like kefir, isn't it? You get all the probiotic bacteria that use all the lactose there. So, even if you're kind of, lactose intolerant or can't have, cow's milk, you can very often have cow's milk kefir, which is really interesting. And also, my feeling on all this, and, I've been quite vocal about this when I wrote my book on gut health, is I'm just fed up with seeing all these aisles of food in the supermarket, free from gluten, free from lactose, free from all these different things. This is to do with gut health. Let's sort out our gut health, and then we can eat what we like. We shouldn't have to be subject to buying really expensive, manufactured products that have had gluten taken out or lactose taken out. Let's look at why we have a lactose intolerance. Why are we gluten intolerant suddenly, or why does that develop? And very often it comes from a disturbance, doesn't it, in the gut that we can hopefully then get right so that we can carry on enjoying all these lovely things.
Yeah, no, Liz, you are so perfectly right. I mean, that is basically a bit of classical medicine thinking. I have been also working in for quite some years and in clinical research around food allergy, and there was a dogma that with food allergy you should avoid all these foods that cause allergies. Well, in a way, it's quite logic and obvious thinking, but in on the other hand, it doesn't resolve. It doesn't help getting rid of your allergy or what.
Absolutely. No, you're pandering to it, and you're really potentially even then suppressing a symptom of something else, because your gluten intolerance or your lactose intolerance may be a symptom. Well, it certainly is a symptom that things aren't right in your gut. And when you think how important the gut is, what else is going to be implicated then? How else are you potentially damaging your immune system or your mental health or, any other thing that, your sleep, so much is revolved around the gut, doesn't it? It's so important to get that right and to look after our gut. It's probably one of the most important things we could be doing.
What it basically is, Liz, is with allergy and intolerances is that you have to re-educate your immune system, and you have to re-educate your gut system, including the gut microbiome. And I think then the gut microbiome is one of the best systems that you can kind of rebalance and re-educate, that in the end of the day your gut and all the other organ systems are functioning well and in a balanced way. Absolutely.
It's really fascinating, Lucian. I always so enjoy our chats and our conversations, and I hope that that's really helped to kind of re-inspire, particularly as we step into a new year and make New Year resolutions and just new ways of thinking going forward. I really want to use this year to focus, for myself and my family and my community here on the things that are really important, because there's so much out there, isn't there? I mean, you could spend an absolute fortune, and you can choose to do, you'd spend 48 hours a day, if there were such a thing, in just trying to get all these things that we have to do for our health, our fitness, our well-being, all of that. But if we can drill down and really get the key elements that are really important, the bits that will really help, away from all the noise and the, sort the wheat from the chaff and all of that, and I do genuinely think that Bimuno is part of that, and our gut health especially.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Will you come back and chat again? Because I know you're always such a welcome guest here. It's lovely to have you.
That's nice to hear. No, I fully agree, and in that way, Liz, the Bimuno is I think a very powerful tool, and that's also what we have shown in clinical studies and all the science behind it, that it's really a powerful tool to rebuild your good gut bacteria. Also after your our holiday season, or whenever we want to create a new health routine this year. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely right. Well, thank you. Very happy New Year to you and your family over in the Netherlands. Stay well and healthy. Do you have any plans to come to the UK?
Well, hopefully next week we have some business meetings for my. I'll be over for a couple of days next week.
Excellent. Well, I may miss you. I'm due to maybe be in Kenya, so I will probably cross in the sky. But another time, perhaps. It would be lovely to do a live or something in person. But safe travels, and thanks for being with us today.
Thank you ever so much, Liz, and for having me in your live chat again.
Take care. Bye now. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye. Bye-bye.
You're going to have to leave me, because if I click you, I think I lose everybody. So you have to... Oh my goodness, everybody has really, really enjoyed that. And just to recap, if you were late to the party, we were talking about Bimuno, and that was Dr. Lucien, who is the head of research there. And this is genuinely what I take every day. So these are my little sachets here. And it comes in boxes of 30. There's 15% off. It's an affiliate discount code if you use Liz Loves, all in capitals. And yeah, I think, for me, as I said earlier, this is the year when I really want to focus on what is seriously important. We've lived through some very, very difficult times, and I think we realise more than ever that health is wealth, and it's up to us to invest in it, to look after our immune system, to make sure that we live well, that we maintain a healthy weight, that we are fit, that we're active, that we're mentally strong, to cope with so much of the challenges that are being thrown at us all the time. And that's the real focus. So that is, as you will know, the focus of Earle Wellbeing magazine. We are evidence-based. We put on the front here, wellness wisdom you can trust. So that's the reason why I love connecting with researchers and medics like Dr. Lucien there, who can actually provide us with the evidence, look at the clinical studies, look at the clinical trials. Some of the other things that I wanted to share with you today, actually, as we kind of have this as a bit of a theme, the things that have really impressed me is Leapfrog Immune. Okay, I know it's not the cheapest supplement in the world. It is seriously good. I will always have this in my cupboard. I buy this myself, and it's from this great company. It's a fab female founder in Britain called Leapfrog, and it's Lactoferrin with zinc and vitamin C. And if you look up Lactoferrin, you can look it up on PubMed, which is the website, the medical website, where they have lots and lots of proper clinical studies, double-blind, placebo-controlled, Cochrane gold standard studies, looking at the evidence. Lactoferrin is really, really interesting as a substance, and it's brilliant for the immune system. At the first sign of a sniffle or a cold, you take it. You can take it for a month on and a month off if you feel like helping to support your immune system. This is mine. You can see I've been dipping into that. And it is something that, if I have a friend round and they go, oh, I've got a bit of a cold coming on, I'm feeling a bit sniffly or a bit under the weather, I just say immediately, have one of these. And 9 times out of 10, it will stop it in its tracks. My young team at Earle Wellbeing have also been really impressed with this. And obviously we trial everything before we start talking about it, but it is very, very good. It is not the cheapest thing in the world, but we do have 10% off with Liz Loves. Again, it's a great affiliate discount code, worth keeping in your repertoire. And I'm fairly sure that I remember when I was talking to Stephanie, who was the founder of Lactoferrin, of Leapfrog, that they do a small trial pack that you can get, which is worth getting, because then when you do feel that you've got a sniffle or something coming on, you can take it and be amazed at how well it works, okay? Very interesting studies with COVID and Lactoferrin, so you can look that up, it's on PubMed. Really good to have in our armoury. Again, talking about gut health, I am very impressed, as you know, with this British brand called Microbes. So Microbes, I'm determined to go and see these guys because they've got a farm in Somerset. I'm down in the West Country, so they're not that far from me. So I am going to come and see you. I'm not quite sure when, but I am. So Microbes, they've got the great thing. They've also got magnesium oil, which I really love. So these are the two that I've got on the go at the moment. There's BioLive Breathe and BioLive Sleep. This is a really nice one if you're struggling with your sleep at the moment, because this is looking after your gut and your sleep. And what I love about these guys is that they have 15 families of probiotics. So do you remember when we were talking about with Lucian just now, prebiotics and probiotics? Do you remember the difference? Okay, so Microbes is your probiotic. This has billions of living good gut bugs in this liquid. You just take 1 tablespoon in the morning, that's it, okay? And you're putting all those beneficial bacteria into your gut. Brilliant. What you're doing with Bimuno, this is your prebiotic. So you are feeding those gut bugs, yeah? So these are like the seeds, plant them in your garden, and this is the fertilizer that makes them grow. So the two work together. Lucian used that lovely word, synergy. Synergistically, you need your prebiotics and your probiotics. And I absolutely love this. And what they do with their lovely liquids, not only do they give you the 15 families of beneficial bacteria, but they also put in different herbal extracts depending on what you need. So this one is all about sleep. So they've got lots of traditional herbs which are associated with a better night's sleep. So you've got things like lavender, chamomile, hops, linden blossom, passion flower, you know, all the classics. I take slumber drops as well from Life Armour. I have those at night in my bedside table drawer. Last thing at night, a pipette full of those. And again, that's full of things like passion flower. If you want to use the Life Armour, I think we also have a discount. 15%, okay, off Life Armour as well. So those are the slumber drops that I take. And on Microbes, we also have, I'm fairly sure that we managed to get a deal on Microbes as well. Yes, 10%, and that's Microbes spelt with a Z at the end, Microbes. And that is .co.uk, I think, or is it .com? Can't see on here. Need to put my glasses on. .co.uk. There we go. Okay, so a few questions that have come in actually from people who were watching that live with Bimuno. So I will get those. Devon Creator, hi there. You say, when should Bimuno be taken? Seriously, anytime. Really doesn't matter. I mean, I take mine mid-morning just because that's kind of when I remember. That's when I take most of my vitamins, actually. Talking about, can you take Bimuno if you've had an ileostomy? So I know of no reason why not. Anything that is going to help improve your gut microbiome is going to be beneficial. But do check with your specialist, I would say. I'm not a medic, I can't give you medical advice. And you could also email Bimuno. They've got a really good website, lots of good FAQs, lots of good contact, and I'm sure they will come back to you with specific information on that. So when do you take prebiotics and when do you take probiotics? Well, I think as Lucian said, you can take them together. So, you know, you could sprinkle your Bimune powder into your yogurt. So, and then you're getting double benefit. I think the key thing is just to take these things, is just to have, you know, your plain live yogurt, your kefir, your kombucha, your microbes, you know, whatever it is, that it's just to start having them. It doesn't really matter what time of day. You take it in the evening. This is Lel71. Does it help with sleep? Well, it helps with sleep in as much as our gut microbes help with sleep. So if we're looking after our gut health, then we're helping to encourage a better night's sleep. But it doesn't have an immediate, oh, I must go to sleep now effect. If you want better sleep before you go to bed with a supplement, I take magnesium. I mean, that's really has been shown to be very helpful for a good night's sleep. So I take my magnesium in the evening. I take most of my other supplements during the day. Where have we got here? What foods to avoid? This is a question from Facebook. Anne saying, what foods to avoid with IBS? Oh my goodness. So I would recommend that you take a look at the Earle Wellbeing website. If you look at IBS, there's so much on there. Maybe, Rachel, you could pop some links up for Anne. There's also a really good podcast that I recorded. It's a few years ago now. It's about IBS specifically, and all the things that you can do to help. And then I've also got my gut book, if you wanted to buy that. I think there's a discount on it at the moment on Amazon. Sorry, I haven't got a copy to show you here. But it's called The Good Gut Guide. And that has a 6-week plan that you can follow, which is really helpful for things like IBS, or anybody actually wanting to just kind of refresh their immune system and their gut health. Couple of questions here. This is totally off field, but of course only to be expected, talking about HRT and menopause. We never get away from that, do we? Okay, I'm going to answer these 2 questions. This was from Christine on Facebook, who says, up until what age can HRT be taken? There's no upper age limit, Christine. So if you look at the NICE guidelines, and they're the NHS NICE guidelines that doctors, GPs should follow, it basically says that you can take it for as long as the benefits outweigh the risks. And we know that the risks are very, very small and the benefits are usually very great. So I intend to take HRT forever because I know that my symptoms return without it and I feel very much better for it. And I know that I'm protected from heart disease and colon cancer and all those other things. And potentially they're looking at studies into Alzheimer's, dementia, diabetes, you know, you name it. So anyway, I will take my HRT forever. And according to the NICE guidelines, which are the NHS guidelines, there is no upper age limit. So anybody wanting more information on HRT, I have a download called The Truth About HRT. I highly suggest that you download that if you're interested. And also get the things like the Balance app is excellent. It's a free resource. And that is it has a very good symptom tracker, which you can then take to your GP to discuss your own symptoms. Okay. This is from Christine on Instagram who says, is HRT different from Low Estrogen Pill? Yes, I'm not so familiar with the contraceptive pill because that was quite a long time ago that I needed to explore such things. It's essentially estrogen. As far as I'm aware, the estrogen in the contraceptive pill is a much higher dose and it's also synthetic. So actually HRT is a much more body identical form of hormone. And it's specifically to replace your lost estrogen. Whereas what you're doing with the contraceptive pill is obviously you are artificially altering your hormones so that you don't become pregnant. Whereas with HRT, it's about simply replacing what's been lost naturally. So that's the big difference. And HRT also includes progesterone if you need it, and potentially also testosterone. But that is a whole other story, and I will be covering that. I think I'm going to record something on YouTube on testosterone quite soon. Right, okay, thank you very much for all those questions. Just to say, yes, Leapfrog Remedy, so that's 10%. I'm being asked questions about that. That is the Lactoferrin, okay? Lots of questions, of course, and chat about HRT always. Yes, I do have an ebook. It's the Happier, Flatter Tum Okay, that is all the exercises, and you can do that. Well, no, sorry, that Stronger, Slimmer You is the exercises. The Happier, Flatter Tum is all about gut health. So if you have a look at lizearlewellbeing.com, you'll see, if you go to shop, there's a whole section on books and downloads, and we've got lots there. And I love the downloads in particular. I mean, I love print too. You know me, I'm old school. I love printed books and printed magazines. But the downloads are particularly good because they have links in them. So you can read them, you know, on a tablet like this, or on your phone or your laptop. And you can click. So what we do in the downloads is that we have lots of links to things like podcast episodes that are especially relevant, or we might have links to a particular chart or a piece of research that's been published, or links to somebody who's making something that is relevant, or if we have a discount code, you know, we can link to it. So the downloads are really good to have for that. And it means that we can also keep them updated as well. So I am back with you, all being well, on Wednesday for a live. As I say, I'm hoping to travel to Kenya later this week, so fingers crossed on that one, because rules and regulations just keep changing all the time. But as you guys know, I've been trying to get there for the last 2 years. My son is there, he's living out there, and I've got my charity projects, which I'm so keen to go back and visit, and just to do some more research and just share. Just let's share some different places, some, you know, lovely parts of the world to go and visit. So anyway, I'll keep you posted on that. But I'm due to be here, still in the UK, on Wednesday. And on Wednesday, I'm going to be talking about some of the things that I'm going to take with me on my travels, and some of the things that have also continued to make a real difference, things that I've found that I've absolutely loved in 2020. So I'll be talking a little bit more about that. So if you've got questions for me, please leave them. I don't do direct message on Instagram. I can't cope, I'm afraid, with just so much. There's so many channels now that we have to look at all the time. But I will definitely pick up any questions in comments. So on Facebook, Rachel will make a note of those and let me have them for Wednesday, or obviously on Instagram, please. You can either leave me a comment here, Liz Earle Wellbeing, or on my Instagram channel, which is Liz Earle Me. So I do hope that you will be back with me live on Wednesday. And I'm also going to be talking about skincare. So there's going to be quite a lot of chat about what to do for skin, because I keep getting lots and lots of questions, of course, and there's so much to talk about and so much good stuff that we can do. Obviously, you've got to have a nice light to sit in front of. We can't walk around, can we, surrounded by nice light? So I'll be talking about some of the key ingredients for skincare, both internal and external, things that really do make a difference. And don't forget that if you would like your free subscription gift, this is going really fast. It's running out the door. So just to remind you, if you missed this at the very beginning, this is worth £60. 60. It's a really beautiful British facial oil with rosehip and bakuchiol, which is the natural form of retinol, and lots of other really good, lots of vitamin E and really good things. I love it on the backs of my hands, but it's obviously it's a face oil, and smell is great. And this is free, but there are only a certain number left. Okay, so it's very much while stocks last, and that's free with your direct debit subscription to the magazine. If you would like to have the oil for yourself free, you can do that. You can have the magazine sent to somebody else. You can have it sent to, you know, a girlfriend, family member, and you don't have to start right away. So you could have it start from, say, I don't know, from March or from June or whenever it is. So if you want to give it to them later as a birthday present, then that's absolutely fine. They can set it up for you. Talk to the people at Warner's. They do our subscriptions. You can either go online. I know, Rachel, you popped a link up on Facebook. And if you want the gift sent to you, you just have to put that in the little comments box, okay, so that you know. Otherwise, the gift gets sent to the person getting the magazine. So if that's you, then that's fine. It'll automatically come to you. But if you want to ring them up, you can talk to Warner's on the phone and just tell them where you want the gift sent to. Now, the gift does not come with the magazine. The gift comes separately. Okay, so the magazine usually arrives first, and then once the direct debit's been set up, then the subscription gift follows. So it's usually a week or so later. Okay, just to let you know. Don't be surprised if you get the magazine and not the gift. The gift will come, but it takes a little bit of time. Where are we saying? Oh gosh, ducks to Deb. Thank you very much for your comment. Yeah, you know, it's tricky. I think a lot of GPs sadly are a little bit behind the curve in terms of the latest information on HRT. But that is changing. There are courses now that are being offered to GPs across the country, and which are really helping to educate. Because we need our medics, don't we? We need our brilliant medics to help look after us. But it's also about how we can help ourselves too, so that we don't need to go and see quite so many medics, hopefully, because our immune system is working well and we're feeling fit and strong and happy and healthy. That is the name of the game. That's my mantra for this year. I will be back with you live on Wednesday. Don't forget, keep your questions coming. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all the usual suspects. I've got a new video going up on YouTube later on this week, so make sure you subscribe to the Earle Wellbeing YouTube channel. Podcast, obviously, coming up later on this week as well. I hope you listened to last Friday's, Friday 5. Anybody take a listen to that? I just picked out some of my key highlights. So if you haven't listened to that, just to let you know, I was joined by Dr. Louise Newson talking about the launch of the menopause charity. I was joined by the consultant cardiologist Asim Malhotra, Dr. Malhotra, talking about statins and some of the research into that in particular. And also Dr. Kimberly Wilson, an amazing chartered psychologist, talking about the relationship between food and mental health. Love Kimberly. Love to talk to her again, actually, on my podcast. So 3 really good clips to listen to, and that's on the Friday 5 podcast, which you'll find on your usual podcast platform, however you listen to it, whether you listen to it on Google Play or Spotify or iTunes or whatever, or you can download it from the Earle Wellbeing website, of course, as well. Anyway, that's it for today. Have a great start to the week. It's been lovely to be with you. Lovely to be back. I always love my Monday chats. I always feel it kind of sets us up for the week ahead. And next Monday, I've got another episode going out on This Morning, and that's the one that I filmed, talking about various different bits of well-being, and I filmed it here down in my new home. So if you want to take a look at that, pop a note in your diary for next Monday. That's live on This Morning. Well, I won't be live, but they will obviously be live, for Phil and Holly and the rest of the gang on Monday. So that will be from 10:30 next Monday morning. I don't think I'm going to be able to watch that if I'm in Kenya. I don't know. Somebody will have to clip it and send it to me. Anyway, we shall see. Watch this space as to see how this week goes. I shall put more in my stories as I go. So I hope you will join me. And until the next time we chat, lovely to be with you all. Thank you. I never want to click off, but I'm going to have to go now because there's stuff to do and fish to fry and all of that. And I'll be back. Thank you for your comments and questions. I will be back on Wednesday live. I shall see you then. Bye-bye.